afternoon. It's Kayla with the Celebration Company. Happy Thursday. Y'all, today we are going to finish painting our Santa bust. We are going for a vintage look, and so this is where we have gotten so far with our Santa bust. We painted part of it. Well, we painted it all yesterday, but we've got to get it finished, okay? So we're going to do another layer, another coat today, and then we'll do some other things to it that's going to just take it over the top, okay? So that's the plan for our Santa today. This Santa bust is available at celebrationcompany.com. I will post the QR code here on the bottom. You can scan that and grab it off of our website. You can also go to the celebrationco.com. And you can find it there under new arrivals. And it is just the cutest little Santa bust. It's paintable, and so it comes white, and you can paint it however you want to. The great thing about this is that it doesn't have to be the detail like we're doing. It can be all one color, so you can paint it all red. You can paint it with our triple thick and make it look like a milk glass Santa bust. Like, there's just so many different things that you could do with it. I can't wait to see all the ways that y'all are going to craft with our little Santa bust here. So when you hop on, say hello. Let me know you're watching. I hope y'all are having a fabulous day. I'm so glad to see y'all today. Let's see who we've got joining. Hi, Chrissy. Hello. Hey, Dorothy. Thank you, Dorothy. Hey, Teresa Johnston. Hey, Jamie. Hi, Allison. Hello, Pam. Chrissy, thank you so much for celebrating. Hey, Holly. I'm glad you could join. Hey, Donna. Hi, Nancy. Thanks for celebrating. Hey, Linda. Hi, Danae. My day has been a good one. I've been working on the December DIY decor box, working on the finishes for that today, and it has been quite trying for me. But I finally came up with something that I was happy with, and that I think all of our darlings are going to love. I have yet to reveal the November DIY decor box, and it's because we've gotten a little off schedule, a little out of whack with Trisha being out of town, and then also changing things over from the crafty kit to the DIY decor box. Things just got kind of messed up, and so I don't know if I even got one scheduled, but I'm going to do that next week, probably next Monday. I'll be revealing the November DIY decor box, so y'all don't want to miss that. Our darlings have received their box, and I think that they're all very happy. If you are a DIY decor box darling, tell us in the comments what you thought about your November box. Hey, Denise, good to see you. Hey, Rosemarie. Hello, Kay. All right, so let's get into it. We're going to get right back to our Santa, right back where we started yesterday. I am not going to paint anymore on the white, and I am going to do some more on the beard, and definitely the red and the brown base. Okay, so we're going to start, I think, with the beard. And I'm using the light buttermilk for that. Hi, Wanda. I'm good. How are you? So I'm using light buttermilk for the beard, and we're going to be adding some other variation to the beard as well to just make it look even better. Okay, I almost said even more better, but I think I just was confused with what I was saying. So anyways, I just want to go over and get a little bit more coverage on the beard, because there's just some spots that I can still see through. And so I just want to kind of get that covered a little bit better. And then we'll go in and we're going to add some more detail to it after we get the base layer painted. Okay. So we painted the beard in light buttermilk. Yay, Pam. I'm so glad to hear it. We painted the face in natural buff. We painted the the trim on the hat and the pom-pom and then the fur on the coat, we painted it in warm white. And then we used Santa red for the hat and the coat, and burnt umber for the pedestal. Okay. So that's all the colors that we used to get this guy painted. And then we used some black paint for the eyes and the same white for the eyes as well. Okay. So I'm just kind of cleaning it up, making the paint look a little bit better. And I'm going to take a small brush, a more detailed brush. Oh, that'll be cute, Wanda. Taking a more detailed brush so I can get into some of these smaller little intricate spots to make sure that they're coated in paint, because I was seeing some showing underneath. And so I'm just taking that little tiny brush there to just get into those little areas. Okay, that's looking good. Second coat is looking really good on the beard. I'm gonna get the mustache a little bit here. Okay. Then I'm gonna flip it around and we're gonna get the back. It's quiet today, I know. Well, Annette just left, and of course the girls are in Hopkinsville for Dina's event. They FaceTimed me a little bit ago to show me the setup. Everything looks really good. They did a fabulous job. So anyone who is going to be there, y'all are gonna have a blast. Everything was just looking so fabulous. All the others who were there, who were set up, everything just looked really good. So it is quiet here without those girls making all kinds of racket in the background. You know, sometimes I have to get on to them because they're distracting. I try. These days, I have a hard time even going live on a Tuesday when they're here, because we're just always so busy just getting all kinds of things done that I don't get the chance to go live. You know, and then they don't leave until like 6 o'clock. And by the time they leave, I'm basically done for the day. You know, I've just had about all I can handle. And so I don't get a chance to go live when they're here a lot of the times on Tuesdays. All right. Okay. I think that's pretty good for the beard. So now we're going to touch up the red. And I'm going to start with the hat. Now that everything's really good and dry on the hat, I can get in there really well and get it good and covered. It's almost too quiet, I know. Well, the printers are going, so it's not super quiet. But Griffin's being very quiet upstairs. He and Andrew both are being really quiet. And y'all, it's hard for me to see all the comments when I am, you know, this focused on painting. So if I don't respond to your comment, please understand, you know, my head is down, focused on this. So I'm trying to look up as much as possible, but at the same time, you know, we want to get this painted. Danae says it's an amazing box. She can't wait to craft it. I'm so glad. I think that y'all are going to absolutely love December's. I think you're going to love it. I'm really excited about it. So I think, whoops Daisy's got a little too much paint there. I think that 2 coats is going to be plenty for the red. Gotta be careful around here, around this white. But that's looking really good. Yes, Donetta, there's a QR code there at the bottom. You can take a screenshot. If you're on your phone, take a screenshot. Go into your photos and hold down on the QR code on that photo. But I will also post a link here as well, just to make it easy for you. That way you've got it. Okay, there we go. Okay. All right, so we got the hat. Now we just need to do the jacket. And so I'm going to dry it because that beard and hair is right next to the jacket where we're getting ready to paint. So I want to make sure I don't. Not a big deal, Donetta. A lot of people don't know that. So I try and say it every time because people don't realize that that's how you do it. Oh, yay, Rosemary. Thanks for grabbing one, y'all. Rosemary is just talking about her mini kit. Y'all, by the way, we shipped those out yesterday. And we do have extras. So if you did not get a mini kit, there are extras. You can grab one on our website. I'll post the link for that as well. Because they are available. We do have a few extras. All right, so there's the link for the mini DIY decor box. Do y'all enjoy painting or do you not like to paint? Sometimes I find it to be very therapeutic, and then other times I don't. I don't mind so much painting like this, but when it comes to like painting a room in my home, I do not enjoy it. Not at all. I do it, but I don't like it. You enjoy watching me paint? I wish y'all could see up close what I'm doing. I'm glad you enjoy watching it. Sometimes I worry. Yay, Larissa! I may have to do another coat right there. A little touch up right there. And I'll have to get a little brush to get some of those details. That's true, Larissa. I feel like I'm using a ton of paint. It's really kind of soaking up the paint. So we're not painting the pedestal the red, which you totally could. I decided to make it look like wood. So I'm just getting the underside here, imagining it to be the coat. Okay. Now just got to get this front side, and then I'll just have to touch up some of the small little areas. And I can't reach with this brush. But that's looking really good. Okay, let me get a small brush. I'm just going to get it in here, mostly around the little hat, and the pom-pom is the worst part. That part is a little hard to get to. Okay, so I'm just doing the best that I can, but I think that looks really good. All right, let's do the base now. Gotta dry this, and then we'll do the base. I think that I'm happy with the coverage, especially because I am planning to do a raw umber wash over this, and so it's going to have this sort of vintage quality about it. So even though it's not like 100% solid on the hat specifically and the jacket, I think it's going to actually work perfect for the look that I'm going for. So we did 2 coats. Thank you, Teresa. I find that something I notice is a lot of people use too much paint. And that is what sometimes makes it messy, is that you just get too much paint. I don't know if that's the case or not, but I noticed that about Mom, is that I think that she sometimes gets too much paint on, and then it just looks, it'll get messy looking. All right. Let's go in with our burnt umber now. And so this is burnt umber, not raw umber that I'm using. But you can use raw umber if you want to. This is looking really cute, y'all. I don't know. It's possible. And I've already got one set out. I've got the one that I spray painted with the high gloss red. That one is sitting out. So I'm not sure. It's a definite possibility because I'm really liking the way he's coming out. So we'll just have to see. I haven't been making him with the specific intention of sitting him out, but that doesn't mean that I won't. All right. I'm going to go on and dry this, see how that looks. See if I want to do a second coat. I do want this to look like wood, so that does change things just a little bit. Sometimes by wanting it to look like wood, if you leave it uncovered, so not completely solid, sometimes that can actually help it look even more like wood. Because it gives it that variation, so it's not a completely solid color. Never enough brushes, Donetta. Never. You're right. I have hundreds and I still don't have enough. Because most of them are dirty usually. All right. So he's looking really great. I'm really happy with how he's coming out. We've got the main coats on. I see just like a couple of little spots that I just want to grab and touch up a little bit really quick. And then we're ready to move on to the next step. I feel like he looks pretty good. I'm going to leave the bottom with just 2 coats as well. Okay, so let's give it a really good dry, make sure everything is good and dry. And then we're going to add some details to the beard. Okay. All right. So this is what he's looking like. So I'm going to grab, I think I'm going to grab a little bit of the burnt umber and mix it with some of the cream color that I used for his beard. Okay, so I'm taking a thin little brush and I'm just mixing that. You can see that color right there. So we just kind of made that darker, almost a grayish kind of a color, taupey sort of a color. And I'm just going to take this paint and I'm just going to add some lines on his beard. I'm just following the direction of the beard. With the paintbrush. Okay, so let me just show you. See that? So just taking that brush and just following some of the hairs. Just adding some little marks, I guess. And it doesn't need to be all of them, just a few here and there. Okay? I'm going to do the same thing on the mustache. I'm going to grab a smaller brush to add a little bit in the mustache. And then I think I'll just add a little bit there in the eyebrows as well. Okay. I think I want to add a little bit up here on the little parts that his hair is kind of coming around the hat. And then I think I'll add a little bit in the back also. Just here and there, not a lot. Okay. Just a little bit. All right. Just like that. I'm going to dry this. And then I'm going to use a different color of brown. I think I'll take some, I think I'm going to go with milk chocolate. Okay. We're just going to add some more, make the wood look a little more wood-like. Okay, so I'm going to take the same brush I was using for the pedestal, and I'm just adding some paint in my brush, not a lot, and I'm just going to do some strokes. I'm wet, sort of wet dry brushing this, so it's not really dry brush, but I mean I am applying paint, but I'm not trying to completely cover. Okay, can y'all see that? So we're just adding some more variation to that pedestal to just give it a wood-like finish. I'm just kind of blending that out. Okay. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna dry it, and then I think I'm ready for my wash. We've added most of the details that I want to add, and so now we're gonna go in with the wash, see what that looks like, and then we can add any other changes. Okay, so now I'm gonna get out my raw umber. Get out my raw umber. Gonna need quite a bit. I'm gonna also put some gloves on. And get some baby wipes. And we're gonna wash the raw umber over the whole thing. Okay, the whole thing. We've got his eyebrows done, his eyes done, his beard, all of that. So now we're gonna do the wash, and that's just gonna bring out all the details. And I think just make him look even better than he already does. Okay, so I'm just gonna use the same brush that I was doing the wood base with. All right. And I'm gonna start with the face. And we're going to apply very heavy. Like, you want to do a lot of paint here because you don't want this to start drying. So I'm really getting in there, applying a lot of paint, just wiping this all over. And then I'm going to take my baby wipe and we're just going to start to wipe away the excess. Okay. And what you're going to notice is that this is just going to start settling into all those details. And we're just going to create this vintage looking Santa. You can remove as much or as little as you want. We want it to kind of settle into those fine lines, which is really going to bring out some of that detail. You got to do the most wiping, I think, around the face. You don't want to have like way too much in there, but you also want to make sure that you're getting that highlighted a bit. I'm just kind of taking my wipe, really getting in there around the nose and everything, so it's not like crazy, but just like that. Look how cute that is. So we're just going to repeat that process. I'm going to go all over the beard here, and you just want to mark in sections because you don't want it to start drying. And so you want to make sure that you get to start wiping it off. And once you start wiping it off, then you're pretty good because, you know, it's wet as you're wiping it. So you're able to give yourself a little more time. This part, I understand why it makes you nervous, but it is totally worth it. I mean, look at that, how that is looking. Just by adding this wash of raw umber, I just feel like it makes so much of a difference. Just changes it completely. go on the hat here. Start working on that. And you can see why it's not necessary to work real hard to make sure everything is covered really well, because you're not going to notice it. Once you get in there and you really start removing or doing this wash, you're not going to notice it. I mean, holy moly. It just makes all the difference. It really does. Just makes so much of a difference. At least it does to me, you know. I mean, this may not be everyone's cup of tea, and that I understand. I like to tell this story about my mother-in-law. When Andrew and I first got married, you know, distressed things were really just starting to come into style. And my mother, I had gone to the 127 yard sale and we had bought this coat rack to put in our entryway. When we first got married, we moved into this apartment. It was an old, really old house, literally right down the street from where we live now. And it was converted into an apartment. And so it had 3 different apartments, and we had the bigger apartment. And it had a very beautiful entryway. It had the old steps that had all of the beautiful architectural detailing. It was beautiful. And it was just an entryway, basically, is all that it was. There wasn't, you know, much room for anything other than that right there. So anyways, Andrew and I went to the 127 yard sale and we bought a coat rack to put there in that room. And it was like a cherry mahogany wood type look. I don't know that it was real wood. Anyways, my mother-in-law came over one day and Andrew was like, "Do you like our new coat rack?" I had painted it. I had distressed it, you know. And he's like, "Do you like our new coat rack?" And she goes, "Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. It needs a coat of paint, but it's not." And I just laughed because it's just like, I knew that that was not her style. It didn't offend me at all. It was just funny, you know, because you could tell that it's just not everybody's cup of tea, and that is perfectly fine, you know. We all have our own things, and I think that's the great thing about crafting, about DIY, is that you get to make it the way that you like, you know, the way that you think is beautiful. It's all you. It's all you, and I think that is the best part. But it's looking so pretty. Look at this, y'all. Hasn't that just completely, it's just transformed in the best of ways, truly. And so this is also, I think, a bit of a cheat, because then you don't have to do as much detail on the face, because this sort of helps with that. It's kind of a cheat, I think. And that's why I didn't do a whole lot, because I knew I was doing this and I felt like this was going to do the job for me. Now, this little part behind the hat, I'm unsure of, because I feel like I need to get in there, but I really don't know how I'm going to get in there with the baby wipe to get it cleaned up. All right. So we've basically got all of the hard part. I'm just gonna rub over the coat to make sure that I'm giving that a vintage look. So not removing a ton of the paint there. Just giving that a quick wipe. And then just removing it quickly. Same thing for the bottom here. Okay. And then I'm going to go over the base as well. So this is a different color than the colors we used to paint it with. And so this is just going to settle and also leave a little bit more of a streaky, you know, wood-like look. So we used burnt umber to paint it with, then we went over it with some milk chocolate, and now we're going over it with raw umber. This will also hide some of your mistakes. You know, that's the other great thing about it, is that it'll hide mistakes that you've made, or like areas where you didn't get it painted just perfectly. Then this hides it. Okay, I think it is done. So let's try. And I'm going to show him to you. Hey, Sandy. I think he turned out really good. I think I wiped off his rosy cheeks, so we'll have to add those back. I think the Distress ink didn't stick, and I think it wiped off. So we'll add some rosy cheeks back to him. But this is what he's looking like, all distressed with the raw umber. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, let's take our Distress ink. I'm going to go get the worn lipstick. Okay, and yesterday I just took and just dabbed it on my hand a little bit. And then just kind of rubbed it on his cheeks. I dabbed it on my hands so that I didn't have a ton. You know, and you can take a dry finger and just kind of go over it to blend it out a little bit. Do some on the nose too. He looks awesome, y'all. Look how cute he is. Isn't he adorable? So y'all, the QR code's on the bottom. I've also posted the link in the comments as well. So you can grab him if you're interested. He's available at thecelebrationcompany.com. He turned out absolutely beautiful. I love him. I love how he turned out. And y'all, that wasn't hard. It was not hard at all. Very easy to do. And super duper cute. Super cute. So thank you all so much for joining me as we worked on our little Santa bus for the past 2 days. I hope you all like the way that he turned out, and I hope that you'll get one and try it yourself, because this was a lot of fun. And as I said, you can just do so many things. So you could also make him one solid color. You could paint him like milk glass. You could do a high gloss red. You could do a high gloss green or white. You could paint him and distress him. You could just do so many different things. But I really like how this turned out. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope y'all enjoyed this one.